On the dot.
Me as well.
I'm going to start by reading the checklist for compliance with the right to know for the state of emergency. As chair of the planning board, I find that during the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of COVID-19 pandemic and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12, so the executive order 04, public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting, which is authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that we are A, providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. We are utilizing GoToMeeting for this electronic meeting. All members of the board have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting through this platform. The public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if necessary, participate in this meeting dialing in the following phone number: 1-866-899-4679 and password 878-120-349, or by clicking on the following website address: https://global.gotomeeting.com/join 878-120-349. This meeting is also being aired on Newmarket Channel 13 for those wishing to watch on their TV and streaming at www.newmarketnh.gov/channel 13. Provide public notice of necessary information for accessing the meeting. Previously gave the necessary information for accessing the meeting, including how to access the meeting, GoToMeeting or telephonically. Instructions has also been provided on the website in that https://www.newmarketnh.gov/planning-board. C, providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. Anybody has a problem, please call 603-659-3617 extension 1321 or email at channel13@newmarketnh.gov. During the meeting, if the public is unable to access the meeting. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled. Please note that all votes are taken during the meeting shall be done by roll call vote. I will start by taking roll call attendance. I will start with Vice Chair Shelton.
Present.
And excuse me, also, if you have to state whether you're by yourself or whether you have somebody in the room with you.
Okay, Valerie Shelton, I'm alone in the room.
Thank you, Val. Jane Ford? Wait, Jane? Jane Ford?
Jane, unmute.
Sorry, I had the headset muted and the mic muted, so sorry. Jane Ford, present and alone.
Bruton. Amy Bruton.
I'm here, and I'm in the room alone.
Sarah Finch.
Sarah Finch, and I'm alone.
William Doucette is not present. Michael Zahorik.
Right here, I'm on my own in the room.
Okay, Michael, I'm going to appoint you to sit in for Bill tonight.
Okay,
Is Ted Seeley on the line? I don't see Ted. Christian Matthews.
Present and alone.
Great, thank you. Okay, so actually we'll start with, I think we still should do the Pledge of Allegiance. Well, everybody please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To
to
the flag
of the
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
I think Jamie wins that one. Eric, just as a process, do you want all of us muting our mics until we're called on?
I think we should, I think this is better sound. If you mute. Next is public comments. Is there anybody from the public, either on this line or on the phone, that has any comments? Okay, hearing none, I will close the public comment at, I have 7:05. Next is review and approval of minutes of February 11th. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of February 11th, 2020.
Second.
I'll second it.
Discussion. Okay, I will go through the vote. In favor, Val Shelton,
I approve. Aye.
Jane Ford,
Approve.
Amy Bruton,
Approve.
Sarah Finn,
Approve.
Michael Zahora.
Approve.
Okay. I will recuse myself as I was not at that meeting. Thank you for that. Next, on to regular business is election of chairman and vice chairman. For vice chair, is there a nominee? Any nominations? I will make a point. I will nominate Val Shelton to be the vice chair. Any discussion? Is there a second for that motion?
I'll
Second.
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 Seconded by, is that Jamie? Any discussion? All those in favor of voting for Val? I will do, let's see, Jamie,
In favor.
Ford,
Approved.
Michael Zahoric,
Approve.
Morris,
Approved.
Val Shelton,
Abstain.
Eric Bodman, I support that. Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations, Val. Next,
Thank you.
is there a motion to, for chairman?
I make a motion to nominate Eric Boderman as chair of the planning board.
Is there a second?
Hold,
Second.
Eric, hold on. Diane needs to unmute her mic.
Christian Matthews didn't vote in that last vote.
Yeah, I didn't. I was trying to ask that question. If I was supposed to be, I didn't get called on for the minutes either, so I don't.
Hold on a minute.
That's correct. I just noticed that as well.
According to the minutes, you were not at that last meeting
Right.
for the minutes. But I'm sorry, I will step in for a second on the vice chair after the vote. I'm sorry, I apologize. So Christian, you vote.
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing your mic.
Get closer. Is that better? Oh,
Yeah, I think a little.
a little, marginally.
No, that's better.
Okay.
That's a lot better.
I gotta stand closer. Let's sit closer. So I apologize, Christian. So for the vice chair, Val Shelton, do you vote in favor or not?
I'm gonna abstain on that.
Okay. I apologize for that. Chairman, who seconded that? Was that Jamie or Jane?
I second it.
Any discussion? Other nominees? Okay, I'll start the roll call. Val Shelton,
I vote in favor.
Michael Zahora,
In favor.
Jane Ford,
In favor.
Amy Bhutan,
In favor.
Christian Matthews,
I'm gonna abstain on this one too.
Tara Finch.
In favor.
Okay, that motion passes. Thank you. We will now move on.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I have on my agenda now staff report. Diane, do you have something or is that just a misplaced?
The staff report is actually the recommendations which are online. If you can pull up that agenda that's on the town planning board website. The recommendations are into the staff report cover sheets.
Okay, let me,
Actually, on the agenda, what's under the staff report are the minutes. That's where
They call
Susan uploaded the minutes. If you click on,
That's part of the Novus package, Valerie.
right, but what I'm saying is when you open up the staff report, it just goes to the minutes.
Right.
So mine-
If you continue down to the latter part of the document, you will find the staff, a fill sheet called the staff report for each of the applications.
Sorry,
and then
sorry, Dave.
all previous recommendations are integrated into that sheet.
Okay,
Sorry.
Yeah.
and go to, we'll go to the first item on the agenda then for regular business. Pelzar Realty LLC, Michael Pelzar. Hearing for an application for special use permit to permit a wetland buffer disturbance for a utility crossing. Of a crematory building located behind an existing funeral home building at the rear of the lot would involve installing underground utilities by a previously disturbed ground within the wetland buffer. The lot is located at 77 Exeter Road, 3 lot 136, C1 zone. So Diane, would you just, this is to bury the electric line that we basically asked the applicant to do at previous meeting that I was at, correct?
That is correct. If you recall, in February, Mr. Pelzar came in with his engineer, John Lorden, from Ty and Bond and made a presentation for the site plan for the new crematorium. And that was approved conditionally by the planning board. But one of the conditions was that they come back and get a special use permit because they are going to be a very minor wetlands buffer disturbance. And this involved some of the negotiations the planning board had with Mr. Pelzar about possibly undergrounding the utilities so you don't have over utility lines site, and that was something that however, that was one of the concerns that they needed to be a special use permit. I think Mr. Lorden is here today and will probably address specifically what that entails.
Yes, I am. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. John Lorden with Ty and Bond. Also with me, you can see, is Michael Pelzar of Kenton Pelzar Funeral Home. As stated, we're here tonight requesting a special use permit to allow 234 square feet of disturbance within the wetland buffer for a utility crossing. And that utility crossing is associated with the crematory building that was approved in February behind the existing funeral home. Brief background, just to reiterate what Diane said, Eversource could not come off of the existing pole that we wanted on the south side of the site. So they were proposing 2 utility poles and a series of overhead wires. One of those was going to go over Route 108 and the other one was going to span over the wetlands. The planning board requested a more aesthetically pleasing site. They pushed us to find a solution. Mr. Pelzar worked very closely with an electrical contractor, verified that the feed could come from his existing building. So in order to avoid the wetlands and determine a least impacted route, we're proposing to run the utilities through a previously disturbed utility crossing or within a wetland buffer. We did go through the town zoning regulations specific to section 32, 155, part E. I'd be happy to read through those if you'd like. Otherwise, we'd be happy to take any questions you have.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Warden. I think at this point, what I'll do is I'll ask member by member if they have any questions for the applicant or the applicant. Start with Val. Do you have any questions for the applicant?
Diane has something to say before I weigh in.
Before we open it up, I think we need to accept the application as complete so that we can accept it for review, and then open it up for the comments from the board members, Mr. Chairman.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, and I have reviewed the application against our checklist, and it is complete, and I would recommend that the board accept this application as being complete for a technical review. That's my recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Does anybody have any questions? If not, I'll let you take a motion.
Make a motion to accept the application as complete.
Is there a second?
Second,
Any discussion? Okay, I'll do a roll call. Val Shelton? Go ahead, Val, I'm sorry.
Yeah, aye.
Michael Zohoreck?
I'm in favor.
Steve Ford?
I'm good.
Steve Bruton? Christian Matthews?
Or in favor. Sorry, was it the question or the vote?
Christian Matthews?
Aye.
And Sarah Finch?
In favor.
I am in favor, so the motion passes unanimously. So now we'll go, the motion, application's been accepted. I'll go member by member, all the members with any questions. Let's start. Sarah Finch, any questions for the applicant or his representative?
No questions.
Mr. Matthews, any questions?
I do.
Christian Matthews, any
Who's
questions?
that?
I'll come back to him. Diane?
You call me. I just wanted to, would you like me to present my recommendation, Mr. Chairman?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Given the size of the disturbance and the somewhat minimal impact on the wetlands, and the fact that we were able to eliminate the overhead wires, I think that this is an application that can be approved under the criteria stated under the special use permit requirements. And it would be my condition that if the board chose to approve the special use permit, that it would be subject to the applicant employing best management practices to minimize any siltation and erosion that may occur that could in effect impair the adjacent wetlands. And I have spoken to Mr. Lorden and Mr. Pelzar about that, and that's something that they both concurred with in the discussions I've had with them. So with that, I would recommend the approval of the application with those conditions. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. I will continue on. Sorry about that, Diane. I should have had that first. Christian Matthews, you have any questions? Christian can't hear me, obviously. Christian?
Nope, no questions for me. Sorry, I think my internet dropped for a couple seconds there.
Okay. Jamie Bruton, any questions?
No questions.
Ford, any questions?
No, good.
Cal Zohoreck, any questions?
No questions.
Al Shelton, any questions?
No questions.
I have no questions. So with that, I'll entertain a motion for approval. Is there a motion?
Eric, did you have public comments?
Oh, I did not. Good. Anybody in the public? Would like to comment on this application? I guess there are none. So with that, I will close that portion of it. Now, is there a motion then?
I'll make a motion to approve the application by Pelza Realty LLC, Michael Pelza, for the special use permit to permit a wetland buffer disturbance for the utility crossing for the lot located at 77 Exeter Road, tax map U3, lot 136B1 zone, per the plans submitted by Ty and Bond. Subject to the conditions which the town planner has recommended.
Thank you, Val. Is there a second?
Second,
Motion made and seconded. All right, any discussion? All right, Sarah Finch?
Approved?
Christian Matthews?
Approve.
Amy Bruton?
Approve.
Jane Ford?
approve,
Michael Zahoris?
Approved.
Al Shelton?
Approve?
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you all. Good luck, Mr. Pelzar.
Very good. Hey, thank you both. Thank you all very much. Thank you to Diane and the town for keeping this going. We appreciate your efforts. Thank you.
Okay. So next on the agenda is Henry Tucker, public hearing for an application for minor subdivision, create a 2-acre lot of existing 16.7 acre lot. The property is located at 27 New Mill Road. I've lost the rest of it. Al, do you have the rest of that?
I'm sorry, Eric?
Do you have the rest of that language? I don't have the rest of the language for, I don't have the second page of the agenda. I have it here, but.
Yes. The property is located at 27 Neal Mill Road, tax map R4, lot 50, R1 zone.
Right, so Diane, we have to give the recommendation as to whether this application is complete.
There you go. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I do have a recommendation. We reviewed the application against minor subdivision checklist, and indeed the application is complete. There are a few modifications that Mr. Sharkey agreed to make before the meeting to bring the project up to date. So with that, I would recommend that the planning board accept the application for review as it is complete under the terms of our order. Thank you.
Any board members have any questions relative to this? As far as accepting the application is being complete? No? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to accept the application as complete.
So moved.
Your second.
Second?
second,
Okay, I will go through a roll call vote. Christian Matthews,
Approve.
Michael Zahoris,
Approved.
Sarah Finch,
Approved?
Amy Bruton,
Approve.
Jane Ford,
approve,
Ellie Shelton.
Approve?
I approve. I vote in favor. Motion passes unanimously. Ms. Hardy, would you now walk us through your recommendation?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have two waivers before the board this evening. One is a request for waivers on the 2-foot contours for the proposed new lot of 2.46 acres. Mr. Sharkey, can you maybe point out on the plan? Are you able to do that to show us which lot that is, please?
This is the proposed lot. If you can see on the lower left-hand corner, the existing lot, as you can see, is after the proposed subdivision would be 14.3 acres. And we're asking for a waiver to show contours on the remaining parcel of the 14.3 acres.
My recommendation, Mr. Chairman, is given that the site and that there's quite a bit of land remaining for a single-family home, that wetland delineation of the entire lot is not required, and therefore it's my recommendation that the waiver be granted. Let me go on to talk about it.
Do any board members have any questions relative to this waiver request?
No.
Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the waiver then.
Mr. Chair, I just had actually a question. Just could we just ask everyone to please mute when they're not talking? I'm just getting tons of feedback when people are when Pat was talking. So just if you're not talking, if you could please mute it. Thank you.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions relative? Go ahead, Beth.
Can we hear the application, open it for public comments before we take any votes on motions?
Yeah, good idea. Good idea.
Thank you.
So we should, do you want to go through the other waiver, what the other waiver is, Diane?
Diane, you need to unmute.
Diane, can you unmute? You're muted somehow. Can't hear you, Diane. Diane?
Thank you. Okay.
There we go.
Now-
We got you now.
Okay. Can you see me and everything?
Yep.
Okay. Please forgive me. It's yeah, I have a very small screen here and it's hard to work with it. Okay. So the applicant is requesting a waiver from the delineation of wetlands on the remaining 14.31 acres. And given the size of the remaining lot for a single family home, I don't feel that wetlands delineation is necessary, and therefore it's recommended that that waiver be granted as well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I apologize for the confusion.
Diane, not a problem. This is new to all of us. So we should, any discussion on whether the application is complete? Any board members have any questions or concerns relative to that? All right, so hearing none, I will entertain a motion to accept the application as complete.
So moved.
Second,
Second,
motion's made and seconded. Any questions or comments? If not, I'll go through a roll call. All those, if you're in favor, say aye, please. Opposed, say nay. Val Shelton,
Aye.
Sarah Finch,
Aye.
Elder Horace,
In favor.
Christian Matthews,
Aye.
Jane Ford,
Aye.
Amy Bruton. Ken, you're muted, Jane, I can't hear you, couldn't hear you.
Aye.
Aye, perfect. And I vote in favor, so the motion passes unanimously. So, Ms. Hardy just walked us through the waiver request. Does anybody have any, questions on the waivers? I think we should take the waivers one at a time. Are there any questions or comments on the waiver relative to contours? Go ahead, Val.
I just think before we vote, we want to hear the application. And then vote on the waivers and then the application so that you have public comment.
I'm not ready to vote on that. I'm just curious if anybody has any questions on it. And we'll get
Okay.
into the application.
No questions.
Any other members have any questions? Okay, I will leave it back to Mr. Sharkey. Then would you walk us through what the actual subdivision is, please?
Good evening, Chairman and members of the board. My name is Pat Sharkey, as been stated, and I'm with Doucette Survey. And I'm representing Sharon Tucker for a proposed minor subdivision, property located at 27 Neal Mill Road, identified as tax map R4, lot 50, and it's in the R1 zone. This wishes to subdivide the parcel to create one additional lot. The total parcel of the existing lot is 16.75 acres. The new lot will be 2.46 acres with 230.19 feet of frontage. As a result of the subdivision, the remaining land with the existing house will be 14.3 acres with 550.65 feet of frontage. Test pits meeting New Market and New Hampshire Department of Environmental Service requirements are depicted on the plan, as well as topography on the proposed lot and soils mapping also on the proposed lot. The proposed subdivision conforms with the town of Newmarket zoning. As was mentioned before, the two waivers were just to in respect to the remaining 14.3 acres. We've received replies from the town officials, and the only request that was is for during construction of the proposed lot, that for travel to be impeded along the public way during construction. We received the planner's review, and there were the two items were just that the subdivision approval by NHDES prior to the plan, and driveway permits would have to be, a driveway permit would have to be issued by Public Works. We have no issues with these requests. At this time, be happy to entertain any questions about the application.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for the applicant or representative? Val?
Pat, if you could explain why the plan does not delineate any monumentation at the corner of L13 and L14?
See if
That's
I can zoom in there.
down to the bottom left and then coming in. Oh, you just missed it.
Is it, can you see right here?
Yeah.
Nope, I can't, but let me.
See if I
Yeah,
can zoom in.
It's the corner of L14 and L13, right there. You don't show any monumentation.
I believe this is from a previous subdivision that was done when the town well was exchanged. And at that time, that corner was in a wetland. And therefore, I believe at that time it was not able to be set as being as such in the wetland.
Diane, is a waiver required for that? From the monumentation under the subdivision?
Usually we do have all corners, some kind of monumentation so that they can be found in the field. And if doesn't exist, it's always been my understanding that that the surveyor will show it and set it so that it can be identified in the future.
I think that is under the subdivision.
I don't, I'm not a surveyor, so I can't really give you an
No,
answer. But
Right, I'm just referring to our subdivision regulations to monument all corners.
Yeah, well, it doesn't, I don't have my subdivision regulations with me. I could research that for you for the next meeting if you feel that's an important issue.
Pat, can you comment on it relative to survey requirements?
It is a requirement. I think it was probably just an attempt at that time. If it's anything, we can try to get out there and set something that's a suitable monument. I think perhaps what might have happened in the previous survey was the monuments that were set were such that would almost be tie distances to reflect that corner. But if that's a condition, then that's something that we would set that monument typically for any survey.
So if you could, so you could just add that to the plan, that marking on the plan that would correlate to the legend to be set.
Yep.
Great,
We'll
thank
do
you.
that.
Okay, thank you, Val. Does anybody else have any other questions or comments? All right, hearing none, let's go to the waivers. First waiver for the contours on the remaining 14.3 acre parcel. Any comments on that? I'll comment. I think it's completely appropriate to grant that waiver. It is a very large parcel. There's really no benefit at all by having contours on that. If nobody has any comments, I will entertain a motion to approve that waiver then.
So moved. So moved.
Second.
Second,
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All right. Let's go through the list again.
Approve.
Mikhail Zahorik.
Approved.
Jonathan
Approved.
Bruton.
Approve.
Dean Ford.
approved.
Ellie Shelton.
Approve.
Hi, Eric Waterman. In favor of that. That motion to grant that waiver passes unanimously. Let's go to the second waiver, which is the delineation of the wetlands on that same large parcel. I'll have the same comment. I think it's a waiver that we should grant. I don't see any benefit in having those wetlands delineated. Any other comments? Okay, hearing none, I want to entertain a motion to grant that waiver.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
Any discussion? If you're in favor of it, please indicate by saying aye. Christian Matthews.
Aye.
Mikhail Zahorik.
Oppose.
Sarah Finch.
Aye.
Bruton.
Aye.
Dean Ford.
approved.
Valerie Shelton.
Aye.
Rick Bottom and I vote aye in favor. So that motion. Next on to the subdivision itself. Are there any more questions or comments concerning relative to the subdivision itself? And none, I will entertain a motion to approve the subdivision. I believe, so I'll just leave it at that. I'll entertain a motion to approve the subdivision.
I make a motion to approve the subdivision for Sharon E. Tucker for property located at 27 Neal Mill Road, tax map R4, lot 50 in the R1 zone to subdivide the existing 16.7 acre parcel into one 14.3 acre parcel and the second parcel being 2.46 acres, subject to the conditions outlined by the town planner, with the addition of setting a monumentation at the corner of L13, L14, and the comments relative to traffic control on Neil Mill Road during construction.
Val, is there a second?
Second.
The motion is made and seconded. Any discussion, any further discussion? I'll go through the roll call then. Christian Matthews,
Approve.
Mateo Zahorik,
Opposed?
Sarah Finch,
Approve.
Wendy Bruton,
Approve.
Jane Ford,
Approved.
Valerie Shelton,
Approve.
Art Bodman, I vote in favor also, so that motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Sharkey. Okay, we'll go to the next agenda item, which is Lucille A. Legault Revocable Trust of 2010, / Survey LLC. Public hearing for an application for subdivision to permit the creation of 3 2+ acre lots in Newmarket out of an existing 9.59 acre lot. The lot is located at 49 Ash Swamp Road, tax map R3, lot 19 in the R1 zone. Ms. Hardy, is the application complete? Any comments on the application? Diane, we can't hear you. You're muted again. Still muted.
Okay, all right, so, yes, Mr. Chairman, the application is complete, so I would recommend that the planning board accept this application for technical review. Thank you.
Do any board members have any questions for Ms. Hardy relative to the application completeness? If none, I will entertain a motion to accept the application as complete.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, I will call the roll again. So, if you're in favor of accepting the application is complete, please say aye. Christian Matthews,
Aye.
Charles Zahorik,
Aye.
Sarah Finch,
Aye.
Wendy Bruton,
Aye.
Jane Ford,
Aye.
Valerie Shelton,
Aye.
Art Bodman says aye. Votes aye. The motion passes unanimously. Now, I think we'll open it up now to the applicant to go through what this subdivision is, please. Mr. Shockey, are you representing this application also?
I am, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Yep. Go ahead. Would you walk us through it, please?
Sure. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, again, and board members. Once again, my name is Pat Sharkey with Doucette Survey, and I'm representing the trustees of the Lucille A. Legault Revocable Trust 2010 for a proposed minor subdivision with the property located at 49 Ash Swamp Road, identified as tax map R3, lot 19, and this is also in the R1 zone. The trustees of the Lucille A. Legault Revocable Trust wish to subdivide the current parcel to create 2 additional lots. The total parcel area of the existing lot is 9.59 acres. The new lots will be 2.03 acres with 200 feet of road frontage. Second lot being 2 acres with 200 feet of road frontage. As a result of the subdivision, the remaining land with the existing house will be 5.5 acres with 277.34 feet of road frontage. Test pits meeting New Market and NHDES requirements are depicted on the plan, as well as topography of the proposed lot and soils mapping. The proposed subdivision conforms with the town of Newmarket zoning. I do have one request for a waiver, and this is for section 410B2 to show wetlands for the entire property. And if this is specific to the property, which is, not sure if you can see on the plan here, but on the southerly side, there's a stream. And we did not delineate the wetlands just to the south of that stream, being far away from the proposed subdivided areas of these lots. Any effect of the wetlands in that area would be affected more from the wetlands closer towards Ashwamp Road.
Thank you, Mr. Sharkey. Any board members have any questions, Mr. Sharkey?
I do have a few more things to
Oh, okay.
discuss in the application. We received the replies from the town officials, and there were 2 things to be noted. One was a request that during construction of the proposed lots that travel not be impeded along the public way. And the second item is that it was requested that there be a site distance easement to be created on lot 19-1 to the easterly side of the proposed driveway. And if you can see, not sure if you can see the hand panning at all. Try to zoom in a little bit more, but there's a site distance easement that we did add to the plan per the request from the town officials on the safety issue of that. We received the planner's review, which has requested 3 items. One, that subdivision approval by NHDES prior to plan signing. 2, that driveway permits would be issued by Public Works. And the third, that the site distance easement document be provided to for review, approval, and recording at Rockingham County Registry of Deeds prior to plan signing and recording. We have no issues with these requests. At this time, I would like to field any questions if anyone has any.
Okay, board members, now you have some questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, why is the discussion relative to a site distant easement, which, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming the town would hold that, versus having a deed restriction that area be kept cleared? That the owner's responsible to maintain that area to be kept cleared?
I will, this is a question, Val. I will ask Mr. Sharkey, is the intent of the site distance easement to be held by the town? That's the intent?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, you were breaking up a little bit.
Sorry, is the intent of the site distance easement, is that to be held by the town? So the town will be responsible for maintaining the clearing of the site distance easement?
I think in this discussion that I had with the town planner, to have something that would be perpetuated for the future in order to adhere to a 200-foot site, which was a recommendation also from engineering that reviewed this plan. It was thought that to have something of an easement form would help kind of expedite things.
Who's holding the easement? Who does it benefit? Who's the easement holder?
The easement would be for the owner of the lot.
Well, you don't put an easement on your own lot, it's a benefit. Either the town's gonna hold it or some other entity. If it's a deed, if it's a requirement of the ownership of the lot for the owner to maintain it,
And that's what the intent was, Valerie. I'm sorry.
so it would be a deed restriction on that lot. And then I would think that the town would have a right to enforce that if the owner doesn't. So without seeing that document, kind of hard to understand, where the town's responsibility is, if not, if any, or at least where the town is holding rights if the owner doesn't maintain that.
The combination of both, Valerie, if I may speak, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
That could be written into the legal agreement. It hasn't been drafted yet, which is why we want to, one of the is that John Radigan's office would review it and advise us as to what format that you could have. I mean, there could be two different parties that, like a conservation easement. If it's not adhered to, then the town can have a third party come in and assure that it's done. So maybe that's the case here, where it would be with an understanding with the property owner, and in the event that it's not adhered to, then the town would have the opportunity, or Public Works, to go in and do the site clearance as necessary to make it work. We have not figured out all the legalities of how that will work out, but the intent is that we would do so, and that would be reviewed and recommended by John Radigan's office.
So just to be clear, the intent is for the owner of that lot to, when it's developed, to maintain that area for the site distance.
Correct.
Is that correct, Pat? I think that
That's
was correct,
correct.
the applicant.
And if
Thank you.
it's not done, the town, I think the Public Works Department has the authority, if it doesn't meet site requirements along a public right of way, they can, do some clearing so that it does meet those requirements. But I think when it's on private property, it brings it to a different realm. So that's what the clarity would be
Okay,
addressed in the easement document. If you'd like me to, have a draft for you to review at the next meeting, happy. I would prefer to defer to our legal counsel as to how that should be worded, because it's out of my purview.
no, I just want to be clear that a condition of the approval would be that the lot owner, when the property's developed, has to maintain that.
That's correct.
It basically, there's a deed restriction on the ownership of that parcel. The
And how
easement
it's
would,
implemented, it's really up to the attorney to advise us how to do that. So that's my point.
I agree with Val. I've seen these several times. Usually they're on a neighboring, on a budding parcel. So
Yep.
I mean, I would be comfortable with this as long as the language is clear that the property owner is responsible for it. If they don't do it, the town has the right to clear, maintain the site distance, but charge them for the cost of doing that.
correct.
That's nothing the town should
However,
do.
again, outside of my purview, if that's what the Public Works Director wants to see in the agreement, then yeah, but we don't have anything yet. That's the whole point, is that we would have a legal document to go with it to clarify these things.
Oh, I'm just making a recommendation, what I think we should see in the document. I think that was what Val was saying too, to make sure that it's protecting everybody, so.
That's correct.
Okay.
Have any questions?
I have a question related to the wetlands area. So it looks like a significant portion of the existing lot has wetlands. It looks like at least 50%.
24%.
24%?
Pat?
Okay.
And it's there's a table on the plan, Mikhail, that shows the upland area. And our requirements are that you can't have more than 25% of the lot area as poorly drained soils.
Mhm.
And I questioned that when I first got the plan, and Mr. Sharkey clearly went over it with me and pointed out the information. You see it's 24% in that table.
Okay, thank you.
Any other board members have any questions or comments or concerns? Okay, Hearing none, I think we should go back to discussing the waiver request. And I think it's appropriate where this wetland is located in the far corner of the property to grant that waiver, but obviously I'd like everybody to weigh in on what their thoughts are. Al?
Just did you want to open a public comments?
Open to public comments. I'm glad you're here. Is anybody in the public, anybody listening or watching that has any comments? Maybe we should give them a minute or so to respond if they do. Anybody on the phone? If anybody new come on board? All right, I guess there are no public comments. Let's go to the waivers. One waiver requested for the wetlands. Again, I think it's a legitimate request to not flag the wetlands on the other side of that stream, but I'm interested in what the other board members have to say. Al?
I have no objections. Eric, you're muted.
Okay, there I am. Okay, so does any other board members have any comments either for or against the waiver request? If not, I will entertain a motion to grant the waiver.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
Discussion. All right, if you're in favor of the waiver, say aye. If you're opposed, say nay. Christian Matthews,
Aye.
Mikhail Zahoric,
Aye.
Sarah Finch,
Aye.
Amy Bruton.
Had to unmute. Aye.
Amy Ford,
aye.
Larry Shelton.
Aye.
I'm going to say aye. The motion to grant the waiver passes unanimously. Now on to the subdivision itself. Does anybody have any more questions or comments relative to the subdivision itself?
Straightforward.
Okay, hearing none, I'd like to take a motion to approve the subdivision.
Make a motion to approve the subdivision of the Lucille A. Legault Revocable Trust of 2010, 9.59 acre lot to 3 lots as shown on the Doucette survey plan. Tax map R3 lot 19 in the R1 zone, subject to the recommendation of conditions by the town planner on May 19th, 2020. And in addition, that a deed covenant be placed on the parcel, sorry, proposed tax map lot 19-1, when the parcel is developed, that the owner is responsible for cleaning the line of sight area. And that the easement document to be drafted by legal counsel provides for the town to be able to clear that at the owner's expense if they don't abide by the deed restriction. And also that a note be placed on the plan as such.
Thank you, Val. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, all again, if you're in favor of approving the subdivision, say aye. If you're opposed to it, Christian Matthews,
Aye.
Al Zahoric,
Aye.
Sarah Finch,
Aye.
Amy Bruton,
Aye.
Jane Ford,
Aye.
Valerie Shelton,
Aye.
Eric Bodeman, I say aye, motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Sharkey.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman and Board.
Okay, we will now move on to new and old business. As the chairman's report, I don't know, I had sent a letter that Diane had drafted to the town council, recommending we, look at eliminating or change, tax fees. The town council met and discussed it, and they would like to set up a subcommittee to look at the issue a little bit more. My understanding is, Christian, you volunteered to be on that committee as a council member and obviously a planning board member both. Correct?
Yes, myself and the other member is John Kuiper.
So what I'd like to do is, if anybody would like to sit on that committee, is there anybody interested in sitting on that committee? I think we should try to get members onto that if possible.
Eric, I'll serve because I'm just familiar with the whole background to this.
Thank you, Val. Is there anybody else that would like to? If not, I'm fine with, a 3-member committee may be fine because one planning board member, one council member, and one member who's on both. So that may work out. Okay. Why don't we leave it at that then? And Val will be our member for that committee. Yeah, representative. Next on the agenda is appointment to subcommittees. And I think I would like to just postpone that so we can actually meet. But I would like to, at this point, though, throw that out to all your members that if you have a committee you would like to be part of, or if you're on a committee already that you'd like to stay on, would you please send me an email and Diane? Don't CC everybody, just myself and Diane and Val actually. At a future date, we'll be able to talk a little bit more about committee assignments. That makes sense to everybody? Everybody okay with that approach?
Eric, for the benefit of new members, it might be nice to review the committees that the board serves on. Or and maybe Diane could just send out a quick email.
That's a good idea, Val. And did you catch that, Diane, to send out an email to the committee? Just shake your head if you got it.
I'm reading lips and she said she'll be happy to do that.
Perfect.
I just found the microphone button at the bottom. I'm fine.
There you go. Does, as far as committee reports or whatever, does anybody have any reports from any committees you're on? Right. What's going on in the world? Probably not a whole lot going on here in Newmarket. So, yeah. Planners report, Diane, do you have anything to report?
I don't have anything to report. We're just looking forward to the time the town hall opens so we can resume some normalcy in our day-to-day work.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Right, unless anybody has anything they would like to bring up and discuss, I think we'll adjourn the meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn? Does anybody have anything to say first, I guess?
Hey, Eric, this is Jane. One quick thing, Diane, you would let the town know the idea of having the seniors' pictures and names in the downtown area is fabulous. I can't tell you how many people I know that have commented on that, and that was just a wonderful touch from the town. So please let them know that a lot of people have recognized the thoughtfulness of that.
I certainly will, and I agree with you. I thought it was really a great idea. Yeah, thank you.
But Jane, I'd like to concur with Jane's comments. We're especially getting a lot of phenomenal comments about the town from newer residents. moving here. They're just feeling so lucky that they made the decision to be here.
That's really nice to hear, Val. I always like to hear that.
Very good.
It was very, did you come up with that idea, Daniel? Whose idea was that? Come on. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
And I will second that.
Okay, so I've got to go through roll call again.
Aye.
8.
Counselor Horick. Oh. Okay, I'm on here anymore. All right. Sarah Finch.
Present.
Adjourn. Aye and nay.
Aye.
Amy Bruton.
Aye.
Amy Ford.
Aye.
Ellie Shelton.
Aye.
Eric Waterman votes aye. All right, we will be adjourning. Thank you very much. It's quite a learning experience meeting like this. I appreciate everybody's patience. And Al, thanks for reminding me how to do things the right way.
Yeah, I hope we didn't miss any.